Hiya everyone, thank you. We're now ready for the second half. So in the first half there, Kim and Lucia explained about the UNESCO and the WHO document. Just so you all know as well, the UNESCO document, as well as being found on our website, www.publicchildprotectionwales.org, this can be found on your child's hub website. So if you put in the hub, which is the website, the units that all schools use, all your child's schoolwork, resources, all this stuff is all stored on the hub. And it is on the hub actually that the UNESCO document is also. So I know we've had problems in the past where people have not wanted to look at documents because they're on our website. But when it comes to frameworks such as WHO, UNESCO, we didn't pluck that. That's the internet. You can find these. We simply have put them onto the website. And as I said, the UNESCO document in particular is on your child's hub. So you can look for it there as well. So next, the ladies are going to get into lesson content. I have to warn you, this is graphic. It can be uncomfortable to watch and to listen to and to see some of this stuff that the children are being taught. And there is an awful lot of it. As time has rolled on, obviously, we've been able to collect more and more evidence. So the girls now have for you lesson content. You want to say, hope you enjoy. You're not going to enjoy, so please stay buckled. Thank you.
Thanks, Adele.
So as Adele said, this lesson content is disturbing. A lot of this stuff is not allowed on the evening news. It gets pixelated out. A lot of it is not allowed on social media. You will get banned. However, it's in the classrooms. So we've taken lesson resources from all around the UK, the Scottish Government website, stuff that's hit English schools as well. Like we said, we're all part of the same system, we're in the same storm, we're just in different boats, that's all. So this is just a summary. Please go and look for this stuff yourselves, okay? We don't want you to take any of this at face value. We want you to prove it wrong, okay? Because that's what we did. We tried to prove this wrong. And when we tried to prove it wrong, obviously, we discovered some awful stuff. So starting right at the very beginning, as we spoke about the World Health Organization document, we discussed early childhood masturbation. People have said things like they're not going to teach small children masturbation. Well, they've actually changed the term now to self-stimulation. So this piece here comes from a package called All About Me. It is a United Nations package. It's in 52 countries in different languages. This piece, age 4 to 10, but it was in classrooms for 4 to 6-year-olds, 241 schools in England. They will tell you it came from Warwickshire Council, but we actually have a report that proves otherwise. So I'm just going to read this to you now. These are the rules about touching yourself too. Now, lots of people like to tickle or stroke themselves as it might feel nice. They might play with their hair, stroke their skin, or they may even touch their private parts. This is really very normal. However, some people may get cross or say that it's dirty, especially when you touch your own private parts. This is strange, as it's really very normal. However, it is not polite to do when other people are about. It is something we should do only when we're alone, perhaps in the bath or shower or in bed, a bit like picking your nose. It is certainly not polite to do it in the class when everyone is watching. Now, we do know children put their hands in their trousers, and we also know children don't bother putting their hands in their trousers. But there's also children touching themselves because they've been abused, neglected, or a medical issue. So not all children will touch themselves. But what this lesson resource has now done, it's told all those children aged 4 to 6 in 241 schools in England that it's okay to touch yourself because it tickles, it feels nice. But it's certainly not polite to do in the class when everyone is watching. Safeguarding concern right there. Safeguarding concern right there. Small children. We do not expect small children to disclose abuse verbally. We look for non-verbal disclosures in their behaviours. This has just programmed every single child away from what we call a non-verbal disclosure. We want children to act out in classrooms because as adults and safeguarders, we then respond with investigation. So this has programmed every child away from what we call a non-verbal disclosure from the moment they hit the classroom. Another thing here for the small children, you'll be hearing things like discuss appropriate and inappropriate touch, okay? A child cannot differentiate between appropriate and inappropriate touch. A child only knows what we tell them. Same age range again, age 3 to 5. You will be told the correct terminology safeguards. So, penis, scrotum, testicles, and vulva safeguards your child. I am here to tell you that is not true. In actual fact, what we do know, which we will demonstrate later on in the presentation, is when a child confidently engaged in conversation about their genitalia, that is seen as consent. A predator sees that as consent. So why are we teaching children to confidently discuss their genitalia? Privates are private. That's all we need to know. A child does not need to tell you intimate details about their genitalia. Now, if you want to teach your child correct terminology, you can. But blanket teaching all children the same thing is giving predators a password. Now, all predators know how to engage in conversation about their child's genitalia. And again, if you look at this, you will be told these are scientific names for body parts. But if you look at number 2 there, it says bottom. So again, it's not entirely true. These aren't scientific names for body parts. Also, you will hear a story like, we have to use this terminology because a child was assaulted. They said, my uncle licked my cookie. Again, that's another myth. There are no studies out there to prove this, okay? It's our job as safeguarders to investigate what the children are telling us. Let's go a step further. When a child has access to the internet and they're searching for cookie or flower or mouse, they're going to see a cookie, a flower, or a mouse. If they are searching for penis, scrotum, testicles, and vulva, what do you think they're going to see? So again, this isn't exactly safeguarding, is it? It's entirely up to you what name you give your child for their genitalia. As long as your children know, privates are private. Nobody is to look, touch, or discuss their genitalia ever. When that does happen, your child should raise the alarm.
Okay, so this is another slide here from the Scottish curriculum, and this particular slide is for age 5 to 9, where it's explaining that when a man and woman is in love, it's a special thing that grown-ups do, and it explains sexual intercourse. The problem we've really got here, children really do like to be grown up, don't they? When we're talking about children this young, they like to be like adults. So there they are, being taught things they shouldn't be learning about and explaining it's a special thing that grown-ups do. The next slide here is also from the Scottish curriculum, and this is for ages 9 to 12. There's a picture here of 2 naked adults, which we're exposing children to naked adults here. This is actually inappropriate content. However, they want to talk about this and explain about the reproductive organs. And then there's that word, the vulva, again, where they're talking, these are the type of words they want children to get used to and speak confidently about. On the other side here, it's got the female reproductive organ, so labelling each part of the female organs there.
The main reason for adding these slides here is because these aren't allowed on social media. So this is what a parent got banned for. So we thought it's important to show you what's allowed in classrooms and what's not allowed on social media. So from age 5 to 8, they were talking about sexual intercourse. Now age 9 to 12, again, they go a step further with instructions. If a man and a woman are having sex and they both want to do it, the man can put his penis inside a woman's vagina, gently move his penis in and out, and this should feel nice for both people. When people have sex, they might have an orgasm. For a woman, an orgasm is a pleasurable feeling in her body. For a man, if he has an orgasm called ejaculation, white liquid called semen will come out of his hard penis. He will enjoy this feeling. We've had an 8-year-old boy come home from school. He has autism. He got into bed with his mum in the evening and he tried rubbing himself against her. When she asked what he was doing, his response innocently was, "I'm giving you sperm for a baby."
So moving on to from age 12 this is. So it's got real sex is when a boy or man puts his penis in a girl or woman's vagina. Nothing else is real sex. And then it says false. Now this then talks about different types of sex acts. So it's normalizing things like the oral sex, anal sex, etc. And these are for children from age 12. And then it goes on to explain what oral sex is and anal sex is. Really normalizing these sexual activities and getting children to think about things they shouldn't be thinking about.
So they will never, ever discuss risks, okay? So it's always sex positive, nothing along the lines of risk. Anal sex features a lot throughout this comprehensive sexuality education. It's also being promoted as a way of not getting pregnant. So females as well are encouraged to use to have anal sex as a way of not getting pregnant.
Okay, so this is part of a video, this next slide here, and these were some clips taken from this video. It was meant to be a sex education for Scottish children. Now, if you can sort of see, you could probably work out what these things mean, but I'll just quickly go through it. The chick in there saying 40%. This is talking about 40% of people like bondage. So it's, really normalizing bondage activities. Then we've got the pancake with a bit of cream on the lips there saying 30% will swallow. So again, normalizing oral sex. Then you've got the 2 sausages there in a bun. That's actually talking about threesomes. And then only 40% of women, that's talking about anal sex, where it's talking about the banana in the Nutella jar. There was a lot of backlash against this video, and it's very difficult to find now, because I have tried looking for that video again. So I'm not sure if they've completely taken it off the internet. But the man that did do this video, we're going to be seeing a video of him later. He is still on YouTube, and there are a couple of sex education videos there still available.
People will say as well things like, "Oh, that video is off YouTube." This is why it's really important you go to the government websites, you look at the lesson content, you click on the PowerPoints, and these links are within the PowerPoints. Every single YouTube video you will come across, you need to sign in to view. So again, who is signing in for these children to view this stuff?
Okay, so this is, it's called Sexuality Agenda V2. It's actually a dice game that was it's funded by the government via the Tampon Tax Fund. Now, this dice game is a bit like an Ann Summers game, something that you would normally find in an adult shop, not available for anyone under the age of 18. However, because this dice game has got the Proud Trust website on it, and it's funded by the government, it is actually available for children from age 13 and to be used within the classroom. So you've got one dice here that we've got on the screen describing the body parts, and the other dice is actually actual sexual acts, where teachers are encouraged to hold their nerve whilst playing this game, and getting the children then to roll both dices and then discuss each of these sexual acts.
And pornography is as fun to watch as it is hard to forget. So much flesh. The whole purpose
purpose of pornography is to arouse us, to get us sexually excited, and that's great because using your actual imagination is hard work. Porn is great to watch while we're getting intimate with ourselves because it doesn't just turn us on, it also distracts us from how stupid we look while we're doing it.
Types of porn, including but not limited to softcore, hardcore, lesbian, thespian, interracial, facial, alternative, conservative, hentai, far cry, BDSM, NEDM, amateur, mature porn.
So we get told that children need this education because they access stuff online. Well, you know, porn is what they're talking about there. That video came from one of the porn lesson content from Scotland. And again, as you see there, porn is, you know, there's no problem with porn, you know, as long as it's fun, you know, just you don't want to look at how stupid you look doing it. There's all different types of porn. You've seen that video for yourself. It's appealing, isn't it? You know, that's what they call child appropriate. However, they do not teach the dangers of porn. So this is a study, I think it was either Oxford or Cambridge University, where it states a fifth of teenagers watch pornography frequently and some are addicted. Porn causes brain damage. Porn is not harmless in moderation at all. Studies have been done. Look at these images here of a brain, okay? So at the top, it says healthy volunteers. At the bottom, compulsive pornography users. Why does it not say non-porn users and pornography users? Why is it saying healthy volunteers? It's simple. Because it causes brain damage. It creates shrinkage within your brain in exactly the same way as heroin, cocaine, and alcohol. So this does lead to brain damage. It also ruins relationships because when you have sex, you release a chemical called oxytocin. And that is like the bonding chemical there. So when you're bed hopping, you're releasing this chemical and leaving yourself empty, which now will impact your relationships. Again, it will affect your sex life because you lose desensitization to it. You need more. You need more exciting sex. It also causes impotency. But they're not telling the young boys that, are they? They are not telling the young boys that we have high rates of men in their early 20s using Viagra now, and that's because of porn. But they will not teach the children that. We will state time and time again, we do not disagree to the teaching of CSE if they taught the truth. They are not teaching the truth. They are not teaching consequence of. They are not teaching the risk of.
Okay, this next slide here is one of the books, the recommended books in within the Welsh curriculum. So this is Teaching Health for Kids. That's one of the third-party agencies that are, they're training your teachers and they're providing content for your children's schools. Now, this recommended book, Let's Talk About Sex. This is actually by an author, Robbie H. Harris, and he's had a previous book that was banned, yet here we are with a book being suggested to schools by this, that's written by this author who's had banned books. And I've just taken a little bit of things there, lovely, colourful pictures, looks all child-friendly. And it's got, I think that's a B there saying, sex is not just any old hugging and kissing, and it's not just about love. I know that much. And then the little chick in there says, well, it's not just about making babies either. So this is really sort of getting children to think about, being promiscuous and sexually active from a young age. And then again, we've got at the bottom, besides learning about these things can be fascinating and fun. So the bee says, doesn't sound like much fun to me. And the chicken says, maybe you are weird. So again, it's really sort of talking about the positive sides of being promiscuous. And if you don't want to be engaging in sexual activity, then perhaps you are, something wrong with you. Perhaps that's a bit weird. And then there's this next book here. This book is gay. I believe this book has probably had the most backlash out of all the books, and it is a very disturbing read. I've only read snippets of it. So I'm just going to read a little bit of what is written in this book. So it's got people with same-sex thoughts or uncertainty about their gender sometimes stop at option 1. Now, when they're talking about option 1, that is to be heterosexual. But I think that these people are probably very sad and angry. I also think a lot of bonkers, homophobes are lingering precariously close to this option 1, and this is what makes them so hateful. So basically saying, if you don't want to experiment with different, the same sex or different genders, then, perhaps that's because you've got instilled homophobia. Then we've got Freud called it transference. This basically means that you hate in others what you hate about yourself. And then we've got more people choose option 2. You can totally have sex with people who are the same gender as you and not be gay or lesbian or bi. So again, really encouraging experimental sex. Now this book as well, it promotes things like orgies, sauna orgies. It promotes things like open relationships, really sort of normalizing these concepts, and as you can see there, sort of just getting together with someone of the same sex, even if you're not gay. So, again, we find this very inappropriate for children.
And now we come to the trans toolkit. This is something you all need to be aware of. This is in all schools all around the UK. It might have different covers, and some have been updated. This one here is the 2019. Section 7.3 is confidentiality and information sharing. If you've got a child, Peter, who goes to school and now he wants to become Patrice, the schools will give Patrice his new name. They'll also give Patrice a new uniform, and it is absolutely none of your business because it's a confidentiality and information sharing. It is not a safeguarding concern. So the 2021 document now, the updated version, goes a step further. It allows males and females into different dorms, different changing rooms, and again, it's not a safeguarding concern. It's none of your business. We get told time and time again that schools aren't doing this. They aren't doing it. They're not going to do it. But they already have, right? Time and time and time and time again. Even Rhondda Cynnon Taff, August 2021. So there was a big row over that particular trans toolkit that I've just shown you now. That's why it's important you access these yourselves, because they are literally just changing the cover. They're changing the cover and they put in your local authority logo on it, okay? The information inside is still the same. This child here in the Rhondda was transitioned for 2 weeks before the parents found out. We don't know who this family is and things have gone quiet. We suspect there's probably been some kind of hush-hush going on there. But again, this child was transitioned for 2 weeks, socially transitioned at school. It was not considered safeguarding concern. The parents had no idea.
Okay, so we're told that schools are constructing their own RSC. This is all in-house, and they do get guidance, or they use, third-party agencies. So this is just a couple here that we've picked out. It's not that there are others around as well, but we've just picked out some of the main ones here. You may have come across it perhaps in your own schools, your own children's school, or you may have just seen it on the internet. So we've got Brooke, Jigsaw, Teach Health for Kids, Mermaids, and Gender. The resources on a lot of these websites are actually readily available now. They are actually being quite bold about supplying information. However, in your schools, when your schools access a program, these agencies are actually, they're protected by copyright laws. So the schools may say to you, you may go to your school and say, can I see the lesson content? And they may refuse you based on the fact that the content they have is protected by copyright.
And if I just come in there a minute, you may or may not have heard of a court case that recently took place. It was Claire Page, and I think it was the ICO. So she had done a Freedom of Information request. She wanted to see RSE resources for her child. She was refused. They took it to court, and the courts have sided with the RSE providers, stating it is not in the public interest to show you what your children are being taught.
Okay, so I'm going to move on. Just going to show you a couple of resources that we have found. And this particular resource is from Brooke, Teaching Health for Wales. Teaching Health for Children. Teaching Health for Children. That is one of the main ones that we've seen particularly used in North Wales, and they are using a lot of Brooke's resources. So it wouldn't be a surprise if, you know, your school is actually using Brooke resources, even though they're with a different agency. So just going to go through just a couple of the things here. The LGBT ABC. So we've got, it talks about binary, the idea that one or two things, e.g. male or female, gay or straight. Biphobia. It talks about dyke, historically a slur directed at lesbians. Some choose to identify this way or reclaim it. Then we sort of go down to gay, gender, the gender you feel you belong to, which may differ from the one that you were assigned at birth based on your genitals. So again, you know, these people that are teaching this, they're not giving much prevalence or importance to your biological sex. It's your chosen gender that is more important. It talks about gender dysphoria. As we know, dysphoria is usually classed as a mental health issue. But when they talk about gender dysphoria here, they're saying, it's a medical term for feeling distressed about the fact that your gender and assigned sex are different. But they do encourage children who feel like that to go down that route. Then we've got gender queer, gender fluid. So lots of different things on this slide here to explain about all the different types of LGBTQ plus terminologies. So I'm going to go on to the next slide, which, again, pansexual, polygender, polysexual, transgender or transition, transphobia. So all these things they're teaching. Then at the bottom there about queer, an umbrella term for sexual and gender minorities, can have negative connotations for some, while others have reclaimed it. Again, if you were actually born, in the 80s or 90s, you'd know that queer used to actually be a slur. Now they're actually claiming it as something to be proud of.
So, like we keep saying, this information is wrong. They're putting out, even here, their definition for queer, an umbrella term used for sex and gender minorities, can have negative connotations for some, while others have reclaimed it. Queer theory is an academic discipline, okay? It's not a word they throw about. It's actually an academic discipline. We will be discussing that with you in the third part. It is not what it says, but there with Brooke. Also, we do challenge these people, okay? So when this stuff comes out, we ask them for their research, their resources to back what they've pulled out. And time again, they can't back it up. We always keep these emails, and we're happy to share them with you as and when you would like them.
And this is another slide for Teaching Health for Kids. This is actually a whole document on this, 17 pages of teaching, training for teachers, and obviously content for the children about the vulva. 17 whole pages explaining this. It goes, you've got to see it to believe in. They want to be teaching this to children. So I've particularly taken this part out here to show you, because it's talking about a labiaplasty. And basically it's saying here, if you're not happy with the size of your labia, you can have surgery to make it smaller. And, it's saying that it can't be done on under 18s because the body's still developing. But then it just says that, surgery can be done. So, encouraging children that if they're not happy with that part of their body to have surgery. And then there's this slide here, also Brooke and on Teaching Health for Kids, about abortion. I won't read through all of it, but I would like to just put your attention on a particular part here where it says, is it safe? And it says yes. It says the earlier the abortion, the safer it is. There are lots of myths about abortion causing mental health problems, breast cancer, or making it harder to get pregnant in the future. None of this is true, according to this. Then it goes on to say, how will I feel? When it actually says that most people feel relief. So again, we've got this is being taught to children they're talking about abortion in a positive way. So not only is that going to desensitize these children to doing this type of thing and desensitizing them to human life, it's also going to perhaps make them a little bit, a bit less aware of being safe. They're not going to be so worried about getting pregnant because they think, well, I can just get an abortion. And then it says, do my parents or carers have to know? Well, it's saying they don't here. They're saying that, we recommend you do that, but you don't have to tell their parents. Again, this is a massive safeguarding issue because when we're talking about children, perhaps that child, or very likely that child could have been groomed or is in an inappropriate relationship, and also the mental health repercussions of an abortion, the parents should know about it. The parents need to be there for the emotional well-being of their child.
So we had one of the expert witnesses on our case, Professor David Payton. He does a lot of work in sex education policies and things like that. He has sent us case studies and serious case reviews where in England, schools have been taking children for abortions, okay? They do take children for abortions. Some of these children were in grooming situations. Some of them had been sent home, just, no emotional or mental support whatsoever. If you would like to see these serious case reviews, please get in touch. We've got them all by email as well. So again, this is very serious. Please talk to your children, okay? I have a 40-year-old friend whose parents don't know she smokes. We all fear telling our parents we are pregnant. It is not that bad when we have that conversation. Please let that gateway open for your children. Allow them to come and talk to you. Reinforce that, okay? This is not a joke. This is not a joking matter. This is not a game. So please, 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 open communication for your children. Do not let the schools take them on a journey they may well regret. Now this is something a lot of us have heard about, yeah? Drag Story Hour. So I had the fortune of being on a Channel 4 news piece. It was regarding Ada HD, this drag artist here. So when I went to give my interview for Channel 4 to explain why we were against this stuff, I took a load of evidence with me. So here are pieces from Ada's social media. Now, Ada became a drag time story hour children's entertainer in 2015 by his own admission. So he started posting on his drag queen story hour, based for children, he started posting pictures such as, "Love has no age." Gay clubs are wild because you can run into both these guys and find out they're both 23 years old. And there he is in the middle there. If you look at most images of him online, I call him Ada H. Hard-On because he's parading an erection when he's in the room with the children. It is a pure, you can see it in almost every outfit, every picture, and every video. Wholly inappropriate. What else do we have here? There we are, there he is with a naked bum. Ada was here. Great, all on the social media. And then, my all-time favourite. When you're at an orgy and another bottom tries to steal the top that's about to destroy you all. 4 years after he became a children's entertainer on his children's entertainment page. I showed Channel 4 this. They asked Ada about it. His response was simple. This was before I became an artist. And he also said, "Eat it." That's his response to me. Eat it. In other words, I'm protected. Ada also went a step further. Rest in power. There she is holding a sign, "A drag queen never hurt a child." But she fundraised for a funeral of a convicted paedophile, a prolific offender, someone who was offending up until the last minute. A registered child sex offender was advertising services for christenings, parties, and all sorts. And when this person passed away, Ada H. used their celebrity status to fundraise for their funeral. So Ada, there may not be any evidence of you directly harming a child, but this enables the situation. Again, going on to this drag story time. This was taken from the Eisteddfod just a couple of weeks ago, okay? So this was for Pride celebrations. The first part of the video you'll see, I think it was put out on the 1st of June. You will see them in the Eisteddfod, okay, celebrating Pride. Then the video for the 2nd of June on the same platform, same social media platform, one day after they entertain children. This platform is for children aged 12, mind. This is what they get up to.
Some say drag isn't for children, so we thought to leave it up to the kids to decide. Absolutely not. We put on a family-friendly interactive party where we focused on having fun and being healthy. The results are in.
They're calling us all bigots here. They're mocking
Are you
us
ready?
in these videos.
They slip.
Now from the top, make it drop. That's a wet. That's a wet. Now get a bucket and a mop. That's a wet. That's a wet. I'm talking wop, wop, wop. That's a wet. That's a wet. Macaroni in a pot. That's a wet. That's a wet. Huh. Now from the top, make it.
If you buy her one margarita, she will spread her legs.
Give me one margarita, I'ma open my legs. Give me 2 margaritas, I'ma give you some head. Give me 3 margaritas, I'ma put it in my puss. Give me 4 margaritas, I'ma put it in my tush. Give me 5 margaritas, I'ma get some fun. Give me 5 margaritas, I'ma put it in your bun. Give me.
If you buy
So there you have it. So there they are, flashing themselves in the Eisteddfod, entertaining children, calling us all bigots. Those children then, the parents would have gone onto social media. The following day, they revealed themselves. Give me one margarita, I will open my legs. That's the kind of entertainment we have for children, is it?
I can actually confirm as well, there are children of primary school age that are singing this song. This song has actually gone viral amongst the younger generation. I know this because I've actually got a friend who've got children that age and they've been singing this. So it's not funny at all. You know, as Kim said, you know, on the same platform, they're entertaining kids one day. The very next day, they've got this absolute disturbing song. And children, you know, it's catchy. Children think it's funny, and they're there singing these words that they shouldn't actually have any knowledge about.
You can't have these two lifestyles on one platform where children are accessing it. And for the parents out there promoting this, questions need to be asked there.
Okay, so here we have got the school sex surveys row. So what is this all about? So this article was actually in December 2021. Up in Scotland, there was a sex survey that were given to children as young as 11, asking questions about their sexual activities. And, you know, there was a lot of backlash against this. Obviously, the Scottish parents were angry. But what has this got to do with where? Oh, hang on. Yeah, so the next page here, just a couple of questions that were in there. Question 55 there. So question 55, there's 55 questions before this. And it says, have you had vaginal or anal sex more than once? Yes, no, or prefer not to say. And then we've got number 57, how old were you when you had sex for the first time? And the first suggestion there is 13 years old or younger. Now, we've got a massive problem with this because it normalises and shows children that this is actually, you know, quite a normal thing to do. So if children haven't had sex by these ages, perhaps they may think that there's something wrong with them. Also, there could be a problem where a child has been abused when they were younger, and this could trigger off some bad memories as well.
So this survey is actually called Health and Wellbeing. That is something you need to be aware of here in Wales as well. Health and well-being is being used a lot to hide this stuff. And like people will say, well, you know, Scotland are different to us. We're not. We're in the same storm, different boats. And here we are. Mr. Drakeford did it to us as well. None of us knew. None of us knew about this. As far as we are aware, there was one sex question. We don't know. We couldn't tell you. We did go to the website. We looked for the questionnaire. all we could find was reports, and there was reports of the results of the questionnaire, and all I could find was one for primary school. So that's all the information we can give you on that, but this stuff is going on without us knowing. And we come to the end of the second half now, guys. I know that was long for you. There was a lot in there. The third half is not going to be so long, but the third half is very, very dark. I've got a criminological background, and child sex abuse and institutional abuse are my fields. So I needed to bring what I know. I had to make that visual for you guys to understand how these policies will work in practice in the wrong hands, okay? So if you have been affected by child sex abuse or any kind of trauma like that, I would have a good think about coming back for the third half. So if we can just have a 5-minute break this time, guys, so we can get through the last bit for you, that'll be great. Thank you all so much for your patience. Rosanna?
We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to do. We don't laugh anymore. What was all of it for? Oh, we don't talk anymore like we used to do. You're wearing tonight. If he's giving it to you just right, the way I did before. I overdosed. Should've known your love was a game. Now I can't get you out of my brain. Oh, it's such a shame that we don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore.